How's it going, my magnificent sons of bitches? Now, I wanted to come back and do a video basically in the wake of the Placebo Bowl that you'll be watching, the fan service that is, basically the WrestleMania Bowl that's coming out, the Super Bowl. And, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs will have little mental breakdowns and they'll go back and forth that they're going to go ahead and be given this UNICEF title, that is. But I wanted to go ahead and do 5 reasons why football sucks. And really, this could be the sports in general, to be honest with you, because it's all the same shit. So I'm going to go ahead and start with number 5, and that is too much commercialized. It's too fucking commercialized. Basically, these people should, these NFL players should be going ahead and taking Tide Pods, which clearly they're eating from, another point that I'm going to get into in this video. But our Tide Pods or Pepsi or whoever's sponsoring them, they should have it mandatory. Whether it be the, discount double check celebrations or the Salvation Army celebrations, the commercialization. And I mind you that, I can have some respect. I, grew up in a generation where it was kind of cool to have brands label you as their spokesperson, as Michael Jordan for Nike or Emmitt Smith for Reebok. But now it's just gotten too commercialized, particularly with their celebrations. The players are too superficial and whatnot. And so it just really takes away from having a brand even behind you. And then, you have all these, millennials and stuff that are acting like Karens. I mean, it's not really good representation of your brand, particularly how lazy the sport's played right now. So ultimately, the commercialization has to be number 5. So then we go ahead and get into number 4. And number 4 is that the fan base is just way too goofy. Holy crap, have you talked to any of these fans? They'll sit there and give you some phantom statistics or something that they've read on the internet and say, oh, this is what makes this person the greatest. You find this a lot, particularly in basketball with like LeBron James, but also in the NFL where they're talking about this guy's the GOAT, that guy's a GOAT. No, he's choreographed to be the GOAT. He's not the absolutely greatest of all fucking time, which is exactly what you try to sit there and present. You try to act like this sport is evolved. But you might want to go ahead and define evolution for me, because I don't see anything evolving in this sport. It's more choreographed, more staged. The bar has been lowered for said generations. There's almost no defense. And all it is a bunch of players stat padding with no real resistance. I don't call this an evolution. But, you have to sit there and synthetically mark out. And I meant, the fan base and the commentators. Just go and look at the commentators. They sound more like JR and, Jerry the King Lawler. By God, that man had a family. I mean, it's almost comical. Just go and watch a football game. And don't even watch the plays. Just listen to the reactions and stuff. And it's absolutely fucking it'll blow your mind if you're a traditional sports fan that hasn't watched in some time. Go back and watch the product today. I beg, just one game. That's all it's going to take. And then you're going to be like, holy crap, what the hell is this? So, with that being said, we'll go ahead and get into the number 3 reason why the sport is just absolutely, totally garbage. And that reason is that it's actually become a little too predictable. Like, I can sit there and watch TV and see, these storylines and, listen to it. And all of a sudden I already know who's going to end up winning what game. With this particular Super Bowl, I noticed a Tyree Nichols, which, mind you, and I want to go ahead and make this real clear. I don't care about people advocating for their own race, for black people. You know what I'm saying? Traditionally, try to bring their brothers up and all that stuff. I don't really, even the, we was kings and stuff. I don't really hate, even to a degree, some of the stuff. I like a lot of the black Israelites content, because we share a lot of the same sentiments. I don't really hate them trying to bring up their own races and stuff like that. But whenever you create these synthetic causes like the Tyree Nichols thing, where you're going to try and cause some sort of black outrage behind it, that's going to be superficial, particularly in the wake of all of these eggs and bread and all of this, stuff that's going up and whatnot in everybody's day-to-day lives, and you're going to try and make a synthetic cause behind it. Yeah, it just doesn't really bode well with everybody else, and it makes any kind of cause look superficial if you're black, or the LGBTQ with Patrick Mahomes' brother being gay. This is the stuff that's being, implemented into it, which is gonna, segue into the next reason why it's totally garbage, and one of the reasons why. But I mean, you implement all these little storylines, so you can kind of suggest, okay, it's probably going to be Kansas City and it's probably going to be Philadelphia. Particularly with the Tyree Nichols thing, we can almost predict it, right? It was a black individual who got beat up by 5 black cops. We need cop reform. We need to go ahead and put this propaganda, because nobody's watching CNN or MSNBC. They're not getting a full dose of our fucking bullshit. So everybody is watching football. So let's go ahead and put it in the football games. And that's basically what it is, a degree of social engineering. But I can base my, predictions off of that. And there's something else I can base my predictions off of, which is number 2. There's too much, it's gambling has completely ruined it. It's completely ruined the sport. And so you have all these fantasy football experts. And like I said, this goes back to the goofy fan base. With their Dungeons and Dragons fantasy football, I own Odell Beckham Jr., and I knew he was going to have a good year, therefore I could be a GM winning for a team and whatnot. Gambling has kind of made it predictable. Once I already know a point spread, and if I know that point spread is, this goes back to the Georgia TCU game. The reason why I knew that Georgia was going to completely fucking humiliate TCU, and it wasn't even going to be close. And a lot of people are like, oh yeah, they're not going to lose by 13.5 points. TCU is a strong, tough team. And I knew that it was kind of going to be a joke. And I was telling people, hey, if you're going to put money down, put it on Georgia. Don't put it on TCU. I know the 13.5 point spread looks appetizing, but it's not going to happen. It's because I got enough suckers to bet on TCU to go ahead and justify fucking Georgia blowing it out. And they didn't even want to make it close. They didn't even want to have a chance. So that's what it is. And so, is Georgia a 65-7 point better than TCU? Absolutely fucking not. That's an absolute joke of a game. Just like this joke of a game is. But, you got to look at the betting lines. And that's another reason why I can predict it. That goes back into a lot of my other points of how this game has become a joke and how it's become too predictable. Which leads me down to my last point, and that's these superficial causes, the propaganda that's implemented. So, what are y'all going to do? And I would laugh so fucking hard if they did the Black National Anthem. But that's exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be these propaganda. It's going to be these synthetic causes. It's going to be people out there talking about, oh, look, this is the first time that 2 black quarterbacks, BLM, were so progressive, they're going to kiss their own ass, thinking that they've really done shit. While those same people out there are having to pay $8 for a dozen eggs, $5 for a loaf of bread. They're struggling. They're living hand to mouth. But we're supposed to sit there and believe that somehow you people are so gracious to have 2 black quarterbacks playing. How about the 2 best quarterbacks? Maybe that ought to. Why don't you sit there and build up of why Jalen Hurts has deserved this spot and the Philadelphia Eagles, and why Patrick Mahomes has been a staple of, the NFL for the past few years, being that guy. No, absolutely not. It'll be the Tyree Nichols thing that you're going to implement in here, which, like I said, there yet again, it's highly predictable. This is exactly why, about the big middle of this week, I said it would be a fun little game if it was the Cincinnati Bengals and the San Francisco 49ers. Not necessarily because they were 2 white quarterbacks, which the people who don't understand sports are kind of lazy at making arguments will say, well, that's because you're racist. No, it has absolutely nothing to do with that. The Cincinnati Bengals and the San Francisco 49ers have played each other twice before, much like the Dallas Cowboys and the Buffalo Bills, with the San Francisco 49ers having generally a tough time beating Cincinnati, but they've come up with 2 wins. So it would be interesting to see the new Cincinnati Bengals Joe Burrows take on the new Joe Montana, which is Brock Purdy. It would be interesting. It would be an enthralling game, to say the least, for non-biased football fans. However, nobody really wants to sit there and watch your BLM Bowl and your LGBTQ bullshit. Well, Patrick Mahomes has a gay brother, so we can talk about gay marriage now. And then, you know, the Cleese versus Cleese Bowl and the fucking Andy Reid, those will be stuff that you throw out for the generic people to go ahead and say, oh, well, that's kind of cool. But we know what the primary objective is. It's the BLM Bowl, and it's the LGBTQ bullshit that you want to go ahead and push and shove down to everybody's throats. And it takes away from the game. It takes away from the legitimacy, particularly whenever you have so many of these people saying how you rigged the game against Cincinnati. And that's going to cause another thing. You're going to try and get some outrage, which nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to invest. You've lost a lot of your fucking credibility. But, you know, I like I said, just play the fucking Black National Anthem at the beginning of the bowl because I want to go ahead and laugh. You can have people kneel for the national anthem. This is the shit that you've put into these games. And it's no wonder that nobody watches your shit anymore like they used to. So I do expect that the marketing for the NFL, much like the NBA, much like everything else, much like WWE, much like the mainstream media and all of the big Hollywood and big tech, will go down. The traffic on Twitter has gone down. The traffic on Facebook is going down. The traffic here on YouTube is going down. So, yeah, you know, that's pretty much it. These are my 5 reasons exactly why the NFL sucks and really why sports in general sucks. This isn't just, you know, traditionally. You can sit there and watch LeBron James put on his little show and Patrick Beverley go out there and take a camera, try to make a case for the rest. But this is exactly why these institutions suck. There's no real man involved. I mean, you know, you look at these people and, you know, there's nothing, you know, redeeming about them for the most part. And these, you know, shows are kind of comical. So anyways, yeah, you people tell me what you think. You like, sub, do the shit YouTube, Facebook tell me to do to get over. And for now, I'm out.